Russian anti-Kremlin volunteers from the Freedom of Russia Legion reportedly used drones to destroy the Grenadier Autonomous Technical Observation Post worth more than $200,000 in the Belgorod region of Russia, according to their report via Telegram. This is not the first that pro-Ukrainian and Ukrainian armed forces have destroyed. The Telegram post included a video of the top being destroyed by a UAV flown by the pilots of the Groza platoon, which operates the unit's unmanned attack aircraft systems. "We are developing and mastering new types of weapons," the caption of the released video read. "This is the first flight of our pilots with the Baba Yaga bomber drone, and it achieved a fiery result," the report continued. In a conversation with Kyiv Post, a Ukrainian military officer commented that the video demonstrated the simultaneous use of two octocopter bombers, from which 82mm mortars were dropped. The drones, which are fitted with thermal imaging, work in pairs. One adjusts the aim, while the other drops the ammunition directly on the target, he added. Before the full-scale war, Ukrainian specialists repurposed a large agricultural UAV into a bomber that, because of its remarkably loud motor, was dubbed by Russian troops as the Baba Yaga drone, after a character from a Russian legend. These heavy-strike drones are capable of carrying a payload of up to 20 kilograms, flying at low altitudes to enhance their accuracy. These multi-copters are exclusively used at night due to their noise and low operating height, precisely when Russian infantry conducts rotations and evacuation maneuvers, a Ukrainian serviceman told Kyiv Post earlier. The drones can carry a variety of payloads, including mortar rounds, improvised explosive devices, hand grenades, remote-action incendiary mixtures, and anti-tank mines. Andriy Ochinash, crew commander of the Kara Nebesna UAV of the 4th Rubizh Brigade of the Ukrainian National Guard, described these drones as versatile little birds capable of easily destroying entire dugouts. In April, the State Border Service of Ukraine reported that Baba Yaga strike drones had destroyed 5 units of Russian military equipment, along with 2 field ammunition depots. Moscow currently fields some 520,000 troops in Ukraine and plans to raise this number to 690,000 by the end of the year. Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces Oleksandr Syrsky said in an interview with The Guardian. "When it comes to equipment, there is a ratio of 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 in their favor," Syrsky said in the interview. Ukraine's top military commander explained that this is the key reason for Kyiv's setbacks on the battlefield in recent months. Syrsky ordered a withdrawal from Avdiivka in February as Ukrainian forces struggled to hold on to the key frontline city in Donetsk Oblast, suffering ammunition shortages due to delays in U.S. aid. More recently, Russian forces have been capturing villages in Donetsk Oblast as they pushed toward Pokrovsk and forced out Ukrainian troops from the eastern part of Chasiv Yar. Moscow scored these successes largely due to its advantage in heavy equipment, according to Syrsky. The number of Russian tanks grew from 1,700 in 2022 to 3,500, while the number of artillery systems has tripled, and armored personnel carriers went from 4,500 to 8,900, The Guardian writes. Russian successes are only tactical, however, and come at high costs, Ukraine's top commander said, adding that Russia suffers 3 times higher casualties than Kyiv's forces, and even higher in some areas. Syrsky refused to provide specific numbers, and the most recent publicly unveiled figure on Ukrainian soldiers killed throughout the war was 31,000 by February. The Ukrainian military said that Russia has lost over 570,000 troops killed or wounded as of late July. The general also stressed that Ukraine managed to halt the Russian advance in the northern part of Kharkiv Oblast and said the military is ready to give a good response if Russia attempts an offensive in the southern Zaporizhia Oblast. Syrsky noted that Russia's advances along the front could be halted, but added that the result depends on our brave soldiers, our officers. When asked about the issue of Western F-16 fighter jets, Syrsky said he knew when the planes would arrive, but refused to provide a specific date. The Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, and Belgium have pledged close to 80 F-16s under the fighter jet coalition launched in July 2023, with up to 20 expected to arrive this year. despite promises by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on July 10th that the first Dutch and Danish F-16s are already on their way. No delivery has been confirmed so far. Sirski believes that F-16s will strengthen Ukraine's air force, but also pointed to their limitations, saying they would have to remain 40 kilometers from the front line to avoid being shot down. An officer from Russia's foreign intelligence agency has reportedly been injured by a car bomb in Moscow, Kremlin state media reported on July 24th. The TASS news agency said the man had his feet blown off in the attack, which targeted a Toyota Land Cruiser. It also said his wife had been injured and 5 other cars were damaged. The Kommersant newspaper said the man serves in the main directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. Russian telegram channel Baza published CCTV footage of what it said was the moment of the explosion, which occurred shortly after the man got in the parked vehicle. Russia's Interior Ministry said 2 people had been injured in the attack, caused by the detonation of an unidentified device, and that a criminal investigation had been launched. The perpetrators of the attack have not been identified. Kiev has denied any involvement in the attack. Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak told independent Russian media he believed there was a malfunction with the gas equipment in the car. Cyber specialists from Ukraine's main intelligence directorate have successfully hacked into Russia's banking and other payment systems, sources from the agency told Kiev Post on Wednesday, July 24th. As a result of the cyber attack, which began on the morning of July 23rd, payment systems, mobile applications of banks, personal accounts, public transport payment systems, etc., have ceased working or been significantly impeded. The hack has also caused interruptions to Russian major mobile operators and internet providers across the country. Users are reporting that they are unable to access digital services from several major banking institutions in the country. Online services are either not functioning or have been significantly degraded at Alfa Bank, Sberbank, Raiffeisen Bank, VTB Bank, RSHB Bank, Gazprom Bank, Tinkoff Bank, and the online banking service iBank. In addition to banks and other payment systems, residents have been unable to use mobile communication or mobile internet services providers Beeline, Megafon, Tele2, and Rostelecom. An intelligence source told Kiev Post, "In reality, Russians are thus achieving the objectives of the special military operation, which, as we know, is going according to plan." Russia and Putin's serfs are returning to their roots and spiritual bonds. The NATO internet is having less and less influence on Russians' lives, and online services are disappearing like enemy liberal values. This is an opportune moment to fully implement the Kremlin's long-desired import substitution in the form of wooden abacuses, paper savings books, and cave paintings for accounting.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.